Most people think being rich means having money, but money only works when the system around it still works. Your bank card needs electricity, your cash needs shops with stock on the shelves, and your savings only matter if the things you actually need are available when you need them. So when I say these 21 survival items could make you rich when currency dies, I don't mean you're going to be walking around Britain trading baked beans like some Hollywood apocalypse film. I mean something much more realistic. A card outage, a cyber attack, a fuel shortage, a winter blackout, a supermarket's run, or just a moment where prices jump so quickly that the thing you bought for £2 last month is suddenly either £8 or completely off the shelf. Because in that moment, real wealth changes. It stops being numbers on a screen. It becomes clean water, warmth, light, food you can actually open, a way to cook, a way to keep your home functioning while everyone else is suddenly realizing just how fragile modern life is. Welcome back to Charlie Survival. If you're new here, this channel is about calm, practical UK preparedness and survival without the bunker fantasy. If that sounds like your kind of thing, subscribe for more. I split this list into 3 layers. The first layer is survival, water, fire, light, food access. The second layer is keeping the house functioning when small things start breaking. And the third layer is the strange one, the comfort and dignity items that don't seem important until life becomes uncomfortable. That's where this gets interesting, because when currency weakens, the boring things become powerful. Number 1, a manual tin opener. This sounds ridiculous until the power goes out and you're staring at a cupboard full of tins with no way to open them. A lot of emergency food comes in tins. Beans, soup, tomatoes, tuna, fruit, vegetables, meat, rice pudding. All brilliant pantry food. But without a tin opener, it's just food locked inside metal. I'd have at least 3, one in the kitchen drawer, one in your emergency box, one spare for lending or losing. Because in a disruption, food is only useful if you can actually access it. Number 2, water containers. Water is where normal life breaks first. If there's a boil notice or if you're suddenly relying on small plastic bottles, you realise how heavy and awkward water actually is. You want containers before you need them. Jerry cans, water carriers, stackable water bricks, food grade bottles, buckets with lids. Because when everyone else is queuing for bottled water, the person who already had containers filled them early. That is quiet power. Number 3, water purification tablets. Tiny, cheap, easy to forget about. They're not your whole water plan and they don't deal with every kind of contamination. But if water becomes questionable, they're a useful emergency layer. Preparedness is not about one perfect solution, it's about layers that overlap. Number 4, a basic water filter. A water filter is where you move from panic to method. Something like a personal filter, a gravity filter, or a household emergency filter gives you a practical way to process water depending on the situation. If you understand your filter before a crisis, you're ahead of most people. Number 5, lighters. Fire is one of those things everyone assumes they can make until it's cold, wet, windy, and miserable. A lighter lets you start a camping stove, light a candle, get your kindling going, or help a neighbour do the same. You don't need one fancy survival lighter, you need a handful of cheap, reliable ones in different places. Kitchen drawer, car emergency box, camping kit. The person who can create flame has options. Number 6, waterproof matches or a ferro rod. Lighters are good, but lighters can also fail. That is why you want a backup. Storm matches, waterproof matches, fire lighting cubes, or a ferro rod. This isn't about pretending you're Ray Mears in the woods, it's about redundancy. In Britain, wet weather isn't a minor detail, it's the whole game. Number 7, batteries. Batteries are little blocks of stored capability. Your torch, your radio, your thermometer, your headlamp, your door sensors, all useless without power. Go around your house, check the sizes, AA, AAA, C, D, 9V, then stock around the kit you actually own, not the kit you imagine you might one day buy. And if you can, add rechargeables and a way to charge them, because when the grid goes down, power becomes local. Number 8, head torches. A normal torch is useful, a head torch is better because it gives you your hands back. Try checking a fuse box, lighting a camping stove, carrying water upstairs, or walking out to the bins in the dark while holding a torch in one hand. It's awkward and you'll drop something. I'd rather have 5 basic head torches in easy to reach places than one expensive tactical torch buried in a bag I can't find. Number 9, candles and tea lights. Candles need respect. You don't leave them unattended. You don't put them near curtains. You don't use them carelessly around children or pets. But picture a January evening. The power is off, the heating is off, and the kids are getting restless. A few tea lights on a saucer in the middle of the kitchen table changes the whole atmosphere. The room feels warmer than it actually is. The kids settle, the mood shifts. A dark house feels colder than it is. A room with a small flame feels controlled. As I always say, preparedness isn't just physical, it's emotional. Number 10, a battery or wind-up radio. When the power goes out, people reach for their phones, but phones rely on battery, signal, internet, and function in mass. In a serious disruption, any of those can fail. A radio gives you another route of information. Weather updates, local disruption, emergency broadcasts, a sense of what is actually happening, rather than what WhatsApp is panicking about. The person with a reliable source of updates has an advantage, not because they panic, because they don't have to. If you want all of these 25 items in one place, you can find them all in the Charlie Survival Amazon kit list. I'll leave the link in the description. If you want a simple starting point for getting your home ready for a power cut without overcomplicating it, my free blackout checklist is linked in the pinned comments. It's the easiest next step after watching this video, and it costs nothing. And if you do want a full UK specific preparedness and survival plan for your household, check out the UK Crisis Readiness System course. It's one of the first UK specific prepping courses. It takes into consideration UK weather, the current threats, and gives you a proper step-by-step plan specifically tailored for your household. If you want to sign up, you can find the link in the pinned comment. Now, let's get back to the list, because the next layer is where most people fall short: the boring repair and house functioning items. Number 11, heavy duty bin bags. Bin bags are not just for rubbish, they are waterproofing, waste control, emergency sanitation, broken window covering, damp clothing storage, improvised ground sheets, a way to separate dirty things from clean things. Heavy duty rubble sacks are even better when bin collection stops for a week, when drains back up after a storm, or when you need to keep wet kit away from dry kit. Strong bags suddenly become valuable. They're cheap now, they won't feel cheap when everyone needs them. Number 12, duct tape. Duct tape is not a permanent repair, but temporary repairs are often enough. A split boot before a long walk, a torn jacket in the rain, a cracked container holding water, a broken window pane covered with cardboard and tape until the glazer can come. Duct tape buys time, and in a disruption, time is exactly what you don't have. Have more than one roll, and not some ancient roll in the garage that lost all its stick. Number 13, zip ties. Zip ties make no sense until something breaks, then they're brilliant. Picture this: a winter storm rips the fence panel half off in the back garden, and the gate won't shut. A rucksack strap snaps on a walk and you've still got 3 miles to get back to the car. A tarp needs lashed into a frame fast because the rain is coming in sideways. You can't do any of those jobs quickly with string, you can do them all in 30 seconds with zip ties. Get a mix of sizes, small ones for cables and quick fixes, large ones for outdoor and structural jobs. Most emergencies aren't cinematic, they're annoying. The person who can fix annoying problems quickly stays calm. Number 14, paracord or strong cordage. Cordage is ancient, but it still earns its place in a modern home. You can tie, hang, secure, bundle, lash, repair, suspend, and improvise. A drying line in a blackout, a tarp pulled tight in bad weather, a car boot full of loose kit lashed down before a drive. But here's the key: don't just buy cordage, learn a few basic knots. Bowline, taut line hitch, clove hitch. That's it, 20 minutes on YouTube, because cord without skills is just string. Number 15, bar soap. Soap is civilization in a bar. When hygiene slips, illness spreads fast, and in a real disruption, washing properly becomes harder than people expect. Bar soap is cheap, compact, long-lasting, and easier to store than litres of liquid hand wash. You can stack it, you can rotate it, you can give a bar to a neighbour if they need one. It's not glamorous, but if you had to choose between another Temu survival gadget and a box of soap, the soap will do more for your household. Number 16, hand sanitizer. Sanitizer is not a replacement for washing, it's another layer for when washing isn't possible. If water is off and you've just been handling waste bags, if you're cooking outside on a camping stove and you need clean hands before touching food, if someone in the house is ill and you need to move between rooms without spreading anything. Small bottles for bags and coat pockets, larger refill bottles at home. We've seen it before. This is one of those items that vanishes from shelves within hours when everyone suddenly remembers germs exist. Number 17, wet wipes. Wet wipes are basically a small packet of normality. If the boiler isn't working, if the water's off, if you're stuck on a delayed train, or dealing with a messy situation at home, wipes become very useful. Hands, faces, children, older relatives, surfaces. They don't replace washing, but they help you feel human, and that matters more than people admit. Number 18, toilet paper. Everyone laughs about toilet paper because of, what happens, but the panic told us something important. People care about dignity. Toilet paper won't purify water or heat your home, but it keeps a household comfortable, clean and calm. And in a long disruption, comfort becomes more valuable than people think. Store it dry, store more than you normally would, not because it's dramatic, not because you're panic buying, because everyone uses it every day without thinking. Number 19, salt. Salt is one of the oldest forms of real wealth. Before refrigeration, salt preserved food. It made bland food edible. Entire economies were built around it. Today, it's so cheap that people barely think about it. But if food becomes scarce, if your freezer fails for 3 days, if cooking becomes basic, or if you start preserving food properly, salt suddenly matters again. Have ordinary cooking salt, and if you go deeper into food preservation, learn the correct method safely. Salt isn't just seasoning, it's stored usefulness. Number 20, basic first aid supplies and household medicines. A first aid kit is not something you buy once and forget about because the useful bits always get used. Plasters disappear, tape gets borrowed, antiseptic wipes dry out, gloves get used. Think of it in terms of consumables, not a sealed kit. Plasters, gauze, bandages, medical tape, antiseptic wipes, nitrile gloves, burn dressings, blister plasters and a thermometer. And alongside that, your basic household medicines, pain relief, antihistamines, rehydration salts, indigestion tablets, and any personal medication you rely on. Used responsibly, stored safely, and never beyond what your household would normally get through. This isn't about hoarding, it's about not being caught with an empty cupboard when the pharmacy is closed or deliveries are delayed. And most importantly, learn how to use the kit you have. A basic first aid course is one of the highest value weekends you'll ever spend. The real value isn't the kit itself, it's the calm person holding it. Number 21, tea, coffee, sugar, stock cubes and spices. This is the one hardcore survival people underestimate. They're wrong. In Britain, tea is practically emotional infrastructure. A hot drink in a cold house changes the mood. Coffee keeps people functioning. Sugar gives quick energy when you've been outside in the cold. Stock cubes turn rice and tinned veg into something that feels like a proper meal. Spices stop emergency food becoming miserable. In a crisis, people don't only need calories, they need routine, comfort, morale, and a feeling that life hasn't completely fallen apart. That is why these tiny items become valuable, not because they're flashy, because they hold a household together. And that brings us back to the title. When I say these things can make you rich when currency dies, I mean rich in options, rich in calm, rich in capability, rich in the ability to look after your family when everyone else is suddenly reacting. Because when money stops solving problems, value returns to basics. Water, fire, light, food, access, hygiene, repair, first aid, comfort. That is real wealth, and the strange thing is, most of it is cheap right now. A tin opener, a lighter, a roll of tape, a bag of salt, a few bars of soap. None of it feels exciting when life is normal, but preparedness is buying things before they become urgent. So before you go, comment below of the one cheap item you think most people completely overlook. I read them all and I can guarantee there will be some ideas in the comments that will help other people watching this. If this video was useful, subscribe to Charlie Survival because this channel is about practical UK preparedness without the fear and without the fantasy. The easiest next step is my free blackout checklist linked in the pinned comment. It gives you a simple starting point for getting your house ready for a power cut without overcomplicating it. If you want to go deeper still, the UK Crisis Readiness System course is the full step-by-step plan for building a more resilient UK home. Heat, light, water, food, communication and household routines. There are now nearly 70 active members inside and the feedback has been really positive. It's helping people in uncertain times find clarity in an actual system. And if you want to see all these items in one place, plus torches, water containers, filters, radios, and other bits I use, my Charlie Survival Amazon kit list is linked in the description. In my previous video, I tested water filters and the water that I actually tested has just come back with the results that there was actually harmful bacteria present in the water. So if you want to see which water filters are best, I recommend clicking this video on screen next. Click it and I'll see you over there.